Baby,
Hey,
you know what time it is.
I do.
It's Studio Johnny Q
Oh,
time.
I thought you meant it was like 12:09.
That means it is time to drop your
Oh.
baby.
Whoa. Alright. And there we are. Uh-oh, I think that Tater just had a seizure, Randy.
It looks like it. You all right there, buddy? He's trying to hack you. Trying to hack your
Do
your
you
Twitch.
want to play a game of chess? Alright. Let's say that we're live on the Twitch. Are we live on the YouTubies?
Yep.
Okay, let me go back then.
5x5.
5x5.
5x5 on.
We're in the
On
pipeline. 5x5. Alright. Let us see if we can help ourselves out. Bye.
Hello, YouTube.
Hi, tubers. Hi, geek tubes. Isn't that the what Jenkins? I can't remember. It wasn't Leroy Jenkins. Somebody else. That guy used to have a channel. And he kind of played this savant sort of character.
Whoa. Leroy Jenkins, the savant comedian. What? No.
No.
Incorrect.
It's not. His name was not Leroy Jenkins. It was something else Jenkins. And he'd always say, "Hey, you tubes," or "Hey, tubes, hey, tubes." And he played a keyboard like nobody's business.
This is on YouTube?
Yeah. Jenkins. Sorry. Jenkins keyboard. Player. Ronald Jenkins. Yeah. I'll copy a link address here and paste it. Try not to get banned from YouTube this time. For ridiculousness. Alright. So we're just doing I'm working on the photo shoot here, trying to wrap it up. I was happy with what we did yesterday. So we got that. So meanwhile, trying to see if we can get some cameras situated here. Alright. We've got our M50 in a spot that isn't bad. And let's see if I can get this back up. Oh. I wonder what show had the most spin-offs. I guess Star Trek, probably. Outside of Star Trek, I wonder what show. Because Happy Days, I know, spawned both Laverne and Shirley. It had Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, and then there was a later, like, Happy Days Again or something like that.
Mork and Mindy was a spin-off of Happy Days.
Yeah, there was an episode with Mork in Happy Days.
No, yeah.
Dude, don't be questioning my...
No, it's like, that's really weird.
I know, but
It
doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's why it's just like, what?
Yeah, that's
maybe
really weird.
maybe not in your world. It might be the Mandela effect. That means that we are not from the same verse
It doesn't
or
seem
origins.
like- maybe he was traveling between the multiverses. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it was. He only appeared in some of them. All right, so let's see here if we can.
I just think, like, I could see him doing having a guest appearance on Happy Days, but like they don't seem like Mork and Mindy and Happy Days don't seem like the same universe as them. So like
Agreed.
stopping them on that.
Well, one, they're not in the same time zone.
Yeah,
They're not in the same
that's
time
fine.
period. One's from the 50s and one was from the 80s. But yeah, but that's the origin of Mork, and it was Mork. I remember because he was doing some things where I think he freezes, or he makes the fawns go slow-mo. I think, with one of his powers. But I think he's dressed just like Mork. And then, again, Laverne and Shirley, they were characters. I think they were all going to the prom or something. Do you remember when Laverne dated Richie Cunningham? What? Shazam.
Mork and Mindy was Mork and Mindy was a spin-off of the sitcom Oh, I cannot speak today. It's all you, buddy. I'm out.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Typical.
The character of Mork played by the then unknown Robin Williams. That's not something you hear.
And now dead.
Unknown Robin Williams.
Yeah. And I think that there was a myth at the time. I think we mentioned this before, but I think that there was a myth that he was like some beach bum that that they just found, who was this like mad genius, right? But then it's like,
Williams?
Yeah, but it's like, oh, he went to Juilliard or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's just one of those things that it's like Mikey from the Life cereal died because he ingested Pop Rocks and soda. That was. Do you remember that?
Oh, I thought it's because he actually ate the cereal. So.
Nice. Well done. Thanks. Now General Mills won't back us. Good job, Randy. Damn it, Randy.
You don't need those corporate overlords anyway.
You know what? You bring up a strong point, Randy. And that's going to segue nicely. I appreciate that. I did update my LinkedIn profile yesterday. And I would like to share it with you. I gave myself a new title. So my new title is Baron Von Knucklehead of Studio Johnny Q. Because, hey, if you can give yourself a title, why would you not give yourself the title of Baron? Just saying. So yeah, so I am now Baron Von Knucklehead. I think I'm going to change it to Baron Von Knucklehead Esquire. Because as we have previously established on previous episodes of Edition Through Distraction, your twice a week nerd podcast where me and Randy say stupid stuff just like this. Well, he says the smart stuff, I say the stupid stuff. And then, that we had previously established that Esquire, you need no qualifications to be an Esquire. So yeah, I think I'm going to be an Esquire. And that. And then I took Weird Al's song Mission Statement, which we played yesterday. It inspired me. So I modified it. I did get a reach out from Pankash, which made me smile.
Oh.
And also I reached out to Solace. She had reached out about a year ago. That's good.
Oh,
Pankash says he's doing good. I asked him how he's doing on his side of the world, man. He says he's doing good, so that's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. Really pretty guys. I realized that my ability to like people increases dramatically if I don't have to work with them. I mean, it is like, I would say 10 times would be an understatement. But yeah, my ability to like people. All right, so here's our profile. My title was Where's the Q Sauce? My about is this. Studio Johnny Q's brand trajectory, in combination with management's philosophy, continuously leverages our core competencies by efficiently diversifying our proven methodologies and circumspect investment in world-class technology, which allows us to holistically administrate prevention of the oversight of ubiquitous paradigm shifts. By visualizing value-added experiences, we will grow the business infrastructure and further our capitalized reputation, which is proactively overseeing day-to-day operations, services, and deliverables with cross-platform innovation via robust and scalable bleeding-edge next-generation best-of-breed hijinks and hilarity. We distill our identity crisis through client-centric solutions and synergistic visualizations of value-added experiences that grow the business. Oh, I have 2 value-added experiences. We got a lot of value-add. That grow the business infrastructure while simultaneously monetizing our assets, gaining traction with our resources in the marketplace. It's mission critical to stay incentivized against flexible solutions for our customer base. That sounds about right. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Also sounds like it should be set to music. Like there should be a link at the top that says, play this track when you read this.
Yeah, I probably should do that. I'll link him to the Weird Al Mission Statement song. Because it's hilarious, because he does it in the style of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, you know? It's like, who played at Woodstock? Crosby, Stills, and Nash, like Woodstock. We are stardust, we are children of the light. You know, that kind of Summer of Love sort of thing.
No, I didn't get that. I'm sorry. You're going to have to do that again.
We are stardust. Don't ask me twice, son.
Did you say that you got in touch with Stolz?
I have what installed?
That you got in touch with Stolz.
Oh, I did send her a message. She had sent a message like, I don't know, like in 2019, and I just haven't been in my LinkedIn profile because why would I? And but she had reached out, so I just let her know and gave her some contact information. So I hope I hear from her.
I started to set up a LinkedIn originally, like when it first came out or something, and then they started asking about some questions, and I didn't feel like answering that right then, so I stopped. They just never stopped bothering me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You start setting up anything up there constantly.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, I think that, you know, my mail, you know, it filters out that stuff into tabs. And so I often just don't look at the tab where LinkedIn stuff comes to. But, all right. I think we're getting closer here to being able to do something. All right. We can zoom that, I think, there a little bit. So yesterday I got a bunch of kind of straight on shots and was just rotating the mini. But today I want to try to get some more dynamic shots of these guys. And then we also have our Dalek to take pictures of. Oh, well, I'll wait. But it looks like the magnets came out well, so I'm pleased about that. We got that. We got our Modoc to take pictures of. We got our Dragon to take pictures of. And we have our Beholders to take picture of. And our Cthulhu to take pictures of. So I think that those will require a somewhat different base. So we'll swap out. But for right now, we'll keep this going and take a picture, some more dynamic photos of our Zealot minis. All right. That's that part.
I like the different views of the grassy knoll you got going on there.
Thanks. Yeah.
It looks real craggy from the top view, and then more mountainous and flush from the side view.
Randy, I would have to imagine, the little that I know about you, that picture day at school was a particularly day of angst for you. How close to the mark am I on that?
Today was fun.
You like picture day?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite day. I couldn't wait.
Randy, I is that sarcasm? I'm not really good at detecting.
That might be sarcasm.
That might be or not. Did you? Yeah. All right, because I hated it.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, them high school years, middle school years, man. It's like some of them photos. It's like John Oliver posts a picture, I think, for his show of him like in high school. I wish I looked like that. But he's posting it because he thinks he looks dorky, and it's like, man, I wish I would have looked. I wish I could have looked that good in my dorky face. It's like you get the part down the center, and like one side of it like goes out straight, and the other one looks like a trapezoid, and the glasses are all whopper jawed, and because I have one ear that sits differently than the other.
The bullies broke them earlier, so you got tape on the center of the bridge and keeping them together. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what did Calvin do on picture day? Hold on, sorry. I was chat. What was he saying about that? You saying the bullies came and they all gave you like what, swirlies and
yeah, right before the picture.
Yeah.
See,
that would probably be cool.
Swirly.
Yeah. And that's how hair gel came in vogue. Sneeze like, during mid shot. Nice. Yeah, he could always. I remember some of the faces that Watterson would do for him. He would always give him some of these really good goofy faces. Okay, so we got that, and let's do a reset on our M50. See if we can get it to play nice, and I'll set the timer. And this should have the battery go. So if I do that, do I turn it on? Sensor cleaning. There we go. Oh, you know the LCD screen doesn't work very good when the lens cap is still on. It's kind of hard to tell when it's there. It works better. Pro tip, kids. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna get some kind of dynamic overhead shots. You know, for these, maybe I'll
just the tip, baby.
Ooh,
just the tip.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't need much more than a tip. Pro tip. Just the pro tip. Yeah. Okay. That works. Did you watch a lot of Mork and Mindy, Randy?
Oh yeah, I love that show. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I was pretty young.
See, she worked. They were in Denver, right? I think was where.
I don't know where they were.
Yeah, I think they were in Denver, and I think that she worked for a TV station. I think her job was a TV station.
Hmm.
And he would wear like those the Marty McFly vest with no sleeves type of things.
I remember his rainbow suspenders.
Yeah, his rainbow suspenders. And at the end of each episode, he would talk with the great whatever it was, I think. And then, with the nanu sign off, I think. And then, yeah.
They were thinking about replacing him, like making him come back home or something.
Huh. And then, do you remember when he had a baby?
Yeah, and his parents.
Do you remember who his baby was?
Yeah.
Who?
Jonathan Winters.
Yeah, because the idea was, I think it was an egg, and when he hatched, it was an old man, and he aged backwards. He's supposed to age backwards, I think, was the premise.
Yeah, their species ages backwards.
You know what? Let's
so his
do a
parents,
couple more.
when his parents got up, they were children. They look like children. Yeah. Do you know who Jonathan Winters' sister was?
Sissy Winters? No,
Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters. Who's Shelley
another
Winters?
actress.
Yeah, that name's
She's-
familiar. I don't remember who she is. Shelley Winters. Old black and white actress. Huh. He'd spent some time in the mental institutions as well.
Jonathan.
Yeah. I think he was.
He was 87 when he died.
I remember a show with him and Bonnie somebody. I think she played like a principal of a school, and he was like her father. She was divorced. The show only had like 1 or 2 seasons in the mid to late 80s. And it also, I think, maybe had like Randy Quaid. Man, is that right? Bonnie Hunt, Jonathan Winters, and Randy Quaid. Computer, was there a TV show with Jonathan Winters, Bonnie Hunt, and Randy Quaid?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah. Whatever. Can I get a computer that was in the same Mandela universe as me? I'm sorry, you will have to go to your home universe and ask that, Alexa. Oh, sorry, Alexa doesn't exist in that universe.
Who's in an
Suck
episode
it,
of
Mortal.
Twilight? The Twilight Zone, I mean. James Howard Fats Brown was his character name.
Oh, really? I'll look forward to that. I'm more than a dozen episodes in. Okay, let me see here. I wanna. Computer, what TV show had Bonnie Hunt as a principal?
This might answer your question. Bonnie Hunt is known for The Green Mile, Rain Man, Jumanji, and Return to Me, the movie.
Oh, that's right. She was in Jumanji. She's the mom of Jumanji. Mama Jumanji. Open up your mind, Quaid. Open up your mind. That's based on Philip K. Dick's. That's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What was that movie? Mars Attacks. Not Mars Attacks. It's Total Recall. Thank you. Yeah, which had a horrible redo. A very beautiful but yet horrible redo. You saw that with me, didn't you, Randy? We saw Colin Farrell's
Yeah, it
Total
was
Recall.
way different.
And it was like, man, if it was just muted and it didn't have Colin Farrell, but I am not a fan of Colin Farrell.
I don't recall much about it other than it was very different.
It was very beautiful. It had a really sort of like Blade Runner kind of feel, I thought, to the look. I think that now, see, I really like, I like Blade Runner 2049. I think that might be the next movie poster that I get. I was looking at some Japanese Blade Runner 2049 posters. Let's see if I find a link to one. Yeah, this is something like this.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff.
So check out this poster. I think these will look really good backlit. Some of these.
Nice.
But yeah, I've only seen it once, and I own it. And the 2049. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it again. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Those are the kind of reboots and sequels that I'm totally fine with. It's like when you just try to do straight up like redo, like what is one of them when you think some of the most egregious examples of reboots are, Randy? Tater, feel free to join in on the chat. I will submit Willy Wonka as the one that probably Tim Burton shouldn't be allowed to remake anything, to be honest with you. Although I didn't mind Alice in Wonderland. I thought that was interesting, but you know, it was an animated, so it wasn't like they redid it. You know,
with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, like that. There's kids who won't know, will have never seen the original.
Yeah.
So that's all the new one's all they know.
Yeah, and I it's like it didn't need it. Why did you need that? Why? Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if one is closer to the actual
book.
Is it based on a book?
Yeah, because isn't the actual book like the glass elevator?
The Glass Elevator is a sequel.
Almost every Spider-Man movie. I actually think that Spider-Man 1 and 2 with the Toby the Spider-Mans are okay. And I like the new Spider-Mans.
The Tobey Maguires, though. I had some issues with that. Mainly Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Just being annoying.
Yeah.
But it's Spider-Man movies, so all good. I like the new Venom with Tom Hardy. That was cool.
Did you like that? I think they're going to do some more. I think they're going to.
An amazing job.
I think they're going to do some more stuff kind of like that, because there's a vampire villain named Morbius that I think is going to happen, and I think it might be part of kind of his timeline-y thingy. I don't know if they'll fight each other or whatever, and it's going to be played by Jared Leto, who I think probably a love-hate relationship with.
I saw an interview with him on Alan Carr Chatty Man, and he seemed really cool. It's a British comedy talk show.
I've seen some interviews where he looked like a grade A dick.
Really? He seemed so cool, so nice and funny.
Yeah, and I may just, maybe it was the one I saw I thought he came off as pretentious and elitist, but just too cool for school. But that's just probably
that's how I assumed he was going to be. I'm not sure why I thought that. But then, so I was really surprised by the interview. I was like, wow, he actually seems like a super dude.
Did you know that he has a band?
Yeah. I think he was there.
30 Seconds to Mars, I think is the name of his band.
I don't recall what the name was. Tater. Tom Hardy could just release a movie with him just staring at the camera and not moving, and I would buy it, no doubt.
Well, yeah, but all you need, and I see yesterday's programming, is all you need him to just go. He's got that herm. And he's. Have you guys seen Taboo, the TV show Taboo? That I think he was like executive producer on and starred in.
He wrote it. I thought.
Okay. I couldn't have wrote it because there was vowels in the dialogue.
He is not his character. John's a real person.
He's not every character he's ever played. You know what? I need to not.
Taboo. The wiki page on their the part on the right side all stuff out with genre created by, written by. They don't list. They only excuse me. The only written credit they offer is Stephen Knight, and directed is Christopher Nyholm.
I really enjoy Tom Hardy, and I need to pick the series back up again. Peaky Blinders, man. Peaky Blinders is a very enjoyable Netflix series. Got the dude that played the Scarecrow in the Batman Nolan movies, and I thought I wouldn't like it because I didn't think I liked him, but I like that show because I think I like him.
I started to watch it. I'm just hesitant as like mobster type movies in general.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to you because that's not necessarily your bag of tea. It's not your cup of Earl Grey. That's cute, Johnny, that you think I would drink Earl Grey. You can say it, Randy. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I did try Earl Grey once, and it just seems so pedestrian.
Thank you for that.
That's a commonly held misconception, Tater.
All right, you just became quote 11, Randy. I tried Earl Grey tea. It just seems so pedestrian. Seems so pedo. What?
Earl Grey, the pederast of tea.
No, really, dude. Pederast. Earl Grey had to go knocking door to door telling people he was a sexual offender. Do your own fact finding,
Really
folks.
Yeah, do your own fact finding.
Most things that we say here are patently false. All right, if we do that, and what do we got on Arc?
Yeah, here we go. Tubby was created by Stephen Knight, Tom Hardy, and his father, Edward Chips Hardy. Is based on a story written by Tom and Chips Hardy. So he and his father.
Do you remember the show Chips?
Yeah, vaguely. I know I watched it. I know I liked it.
Ponce and John has a really great intro. I think the intro song's like, and then it has like some funky like 70s music.
Chris Pine is the son of the their boss. I'm not sure what his title was. The chief of police or whoever. Chips.
Who was?
Chris Pine is the son of the guy that played
Oh, really?
their boss.
Their boss. That's funny. And that was a show that at the end it would do that thing where like, oh, wasn't that some hijinks we got into? And then it would freeze a picture of them, and then it would show ha 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 ha, and then freeze them. You know what I mean? Like during the end credits.
That's funny.
Yeah. And so that's
Robert Pine is his father.
Robert Pine.
Is Chris Pine's father.
Huh. That's funny. Yeah, my parents told me they were getting a divorce at the end of a Chips episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I very distinctly remember that.
All right, episode's over. Hey guys, family meeting.
Well, we didn't want to ruin Chips. Well, thank God we didn't ruin Chips. Hey, it was for the best. I'm probably the only person in the family that remembers that. Out of the 5 people that were there, I'm sure I'm the only one that remembers that it occurred during an episode of Chips.
That's what I was looking for. There we go.
And that's why I like hanging out here and talking with you and Taters. Is we can go all around the world. All around the world.
Sergeant Joseph. Wow.
I remember what he looked like. I can distinctly see his face. He looks like he should have been John's dad. Ponch and John. He looks like he would have been John's dad, not Chris Pines. Chakotay on Voyager always reminded me of Poncherelli. I used to call him Poncherelli. Space Poncherelli.
Oh yeah, I can see that. When I heard that Chris Pine's father was in Chips, that was.
Yeah, I would have never in a million years guessed who it was.
Okay, Tater.
Tater. Oh, be right back. Right on. All righty.
Bobby. Punch and Bobby. Have you watched any more of Jack Ryan, the series?
I've watched the entire first season, and I started to rewatch it again so I could watch the second, and I've gotten stuck in the middle of that. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw the entirety of the first season, but I haven't gotten around to watching the next season. Yeah, I thought it was really, really well done, but again, it's like it was too real in parts of it. Like it got into aspects of things that I'm not, that's shit that happens in the real world. I don't need to.
What, like male-female relationships?
Like terrorism and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's scary too.
Too real. I don't know.
I thought Jim did a really good job in the role.
Yes, it was very well done. He did an amazing job.
You know, actually, who I didn't like was the boss, that his boss who gets demoted and is now, everybody's like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I work in the basement now, kind of thing. And he comes off like he's a Billy badass all the time. And I'm like, dude, I am just not buying it that you're a badass. It's the same thing with that Colby McCheddar that's in the Avenger movies, who plays Maria Hill. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying that you're a badass. And the same thing with, I had that same problem with
she was in the new Reacher, the second Reacher movie.
Yeah, and the previews it looked like,
Pretty bad.
yeah, it looked like it was a little bit more believable or something. I don't know, but I had the same problem with the Asian woman and the Marvel TV show Shield,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like you just can't come up and say I'm a badass. No, believe me, I'm a badass. It's like you got to earn that.
She does a lot of fight scenes and stuff. That she definitely proves that she's a badass in that. But
Well,
uh,
her stunt double does.
yeah, I don't know if she does any other stuff or not.
Yeah, maybe, and it might be like as you see more of it that you can believe it. But and the thing is that I was saying I had a hard time with his boss the first time, but as I'm watching it the second time, I'm not having that same problem as I did. It's like I am kind of believing him more. So I don't know. Maybe it was me, but nothing happened.
Which one is that?
The Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm not having the problem with his character, his boss's character, on the second view as I. But we've talked about this several times that find movies that I have problems with initially that upon second viewings, often I can. Now that I know what to expect, I know I felt that way about the third Iron Man, and I think you said you had a similar experience, right? And upon second viewing, it was much more palatable.
It was so different. Going in expecting another Iron Man movie and not knowing what and then
getting that movie was a little
so
odd.
different. But then the second time, you're like, okay, yeah, that was actually all right, cool.
It was fun. It's a fun little jaunt. All right, what are we doing on our?
Wendell Pierce.
Who's Wendell? Is that his boss?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I can't remember. The thing is too. I think that is if you've convinced me in the previous work that you're a badass, then you can come in and just say, "Hey, I'm Billy Badass." Tom Hardy can come in and he can be Billy Badass from the get go, right? Because I've seen previous works where you've established your badasseriness, and but if I've seen you from something else and you were a mom and now you're some secret agent ninja warrior, and then you're gonna have to bring it.
I can't remember what he is like in that series in Jack Ryan. Does it show him having any redeeming quality at all, or is he just an asshole?
He does, I think. I think there's a moment where Jack's like trying to just like circumvent him, and he's like, he gives him his comeuppance, and you're like, yeah, maybe he was right on that, or he, a moment where he recognizes that Jack might not be full of crap. But I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes into rewatching it, so I just know that it did really strike me as like that I kept tripping on his character. But yeah, I do think he does a really good job in that role. He does something about that. I guess I appreciate those kind of understated heroes, right? Type of character. He's not Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, right? He's like, I just run numbers, but I think I know some stuff, but
With like Jake 2.0, or there were two that were kind of similar in a way. I saw one of them.
Thinking about
Jake
Tosh.
2.0 is not the thinking of. That's the one I want.
Thinking about Tosh 2.0.
No, there's actually a series called Jake 2.0.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, because he was like he worked at Walmart, but he was a secret agent or something. Wasn't that the guy who played Shazam? Same actor.
See, that's the one I was actually thinking of. There's two I always get.
I think that's the 2.0 one.
Is it prison?
So,
No, Jake 2.0 is. Let's see, who's this character's name?
oh, that one might have just been like Sam or something, right? It was just like a
That's
different name.
NSA computer technician Jake Foley is transformed into a secret agent after he's accidentally infected with nanobots based on nanotechnology that reduce the size of a computer to the molecular level, which gives him superhuman powers. With his new abilities, he can crack into anything electronic and control it. The other one is like just a database, like the CIA database gets, or the database of all of the joint kind of CIA, FBI database gets downloaded into his head.
Chuck. Chuck is what you're
Yeah,
thinking of.
Chuck.
Yeah, that was the actor that was in Shazam. He played Shazam.
John Krasinski.
Shazam, son!
Jake 2.0, the main actor in that. Who the hell? I was trouble finding my movie for some reason.
Remember that Kathy always used to call Josh 2.0?
Christopher Gorham, which is the guy that I keep mistaking for Tom Hanks' son, Colin Hanks.
Colin Farrell?
Why exactly? No, not Colin Farrell.
Have you ever seen
But he plays in Christopher Gorham plays in Insatiable.
Have you ever seen any of the was it Jon Favreau, speaking of Iron Man, right? Jon Favreau's like dinner thing where it's him sitting down talking with people at dinner, other stars.
I have not.
It's you can find, I think, a lot of them on YouTube, maybe even also on Netflix. For at least a period of time, and a lot of them are really interesting because it's just like some of the people that he has. I think he has ones like Marilyn Manson is there, and but it was like seeing that made me really jaded upon some people because you just get to see them in a totally different light. But one of those, and it just reaffirmed my opinions of him, it was a very young Colin Farrell. And I think it's like there's a one point on it where he's like, oh man, that guy's got to get a lot of puss or something like that. It was like, dude, did you just really say that? You're sitting with mixed company and no, I'm just saying, man. And it's just like, Colin Farrell. And it's just like, you could just tell that he was a young, famous, rich guy, and that was a poon hound, was the way it came off from his comments. It was like, oh no, man, that's just, what? I didn't say anything wrong. It's like, no. Okay. I don't think that we're really gonna, I think I'm gonna reshoot some of these guys on some of the bigger villains here on
Ellen has had Colin Farrell on her show a lot. It comes off as a real sweetheart on her.
And the thing is too, it's like, I've been thinking about, Adam Savage, and he's a personal hero of mine, but I don't think I liked young Adam Savage very much. I don't think I liked shaved head, earring Adam Savage. And I don't know that he liked himself a lot back in those days too. He's done a lot of growing, and people do change. And so what do I know? They're real people, and I'd see a couple snapshots of them and make, quick judgments. And the thing is too, is like, he's played a lot of characters that are not likable. And so, when somebody does that effectively, I'm always have a tendency to think, how much is that as acting, and how much is that you're just a douche?
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw like a little clip of on YouTube. There's episodes where they review like each Doctor for Doctor Who.
Yeah, I refuse to look at any of that. Who's the best companions and who's the best Doctor? And
no, it wasn't like rating them against each other. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
it was so far what I saw was just, and that's what I was kind of afraid it was going to be. It's
Uh-huh.
like, um, this one is actually looked like it was going kind of in depth on each different doctor's run,
Oh, okay.
and
Like what
talking
some of their
about
strengths
stuff.
were and stuff like that.
Just talking about it in general, not saying like, they were strong, they were the best doctor or
Okay.
anything, or just talking about their experience with it and stuff, and just the experience of Doctor Who in that person's stint as Doctor Who. So each episode was about one of the or each of the doctors. So the one about Tom Baker, he was like, I didn't know how I was going to do it, and they didn't know how they wanted me to do it, and so I ended up just kind of, it was just, I just
Freeballing
said
it?
the lines, and everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, do that." He's like, "That's just me. I'm just reading the lines." So he's like, it was the greatest thing ever. I was just,
Got to play
I just
himself.
got to be myself. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, that'd be enjoyable. I heard an interview. I think it may have been a Fresh Air interview with Terry Gross, where she was interviewing Clint Eastwood, and he got kind of famous doing these spaghetti western movies, like a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more, stuff like that, and he's always kind of known for having this steely gaze, squinty eye thing. And she was like, what brought that on? And he was like, we were shooting in the desert, and it was really, really, really bright. The end. And it's just like, it's really bright. And when it's really bright, you got to squint your eyes. And we were shooting a lot of Western desert scenes. And, it was like, that's funny.
I went back to a previous tab about Mork and Mindy, and I looked down and it says, "How did Mork and Mindy have a baby?" It says Exodore, who was working as a doctor, determines that Mork is pregnant. Mork gives birth to an egg via his navel. Mindy has trouble accepting that in the egg is their child. The egg grows and hatches a full-grown elderly man as Mork and Mindy's baby, since Orkin's aged backwards.
I would imagine that's probably where, if you looked at the website Jump the Shark, I would imagine that's probably where they call the Jump the Shark moment for Mork and Mindy.
The birth of Mirth.
What was his name?
M-E-A-R-T-H. Mirth.
Mirth.
I assume that's the way they're pronouncing it.
Like Earth, but with an M?
Mirth sounds cool. It's like Earth, but with an M at the front. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's cool. And yet, like Mirth and Merriment. Mork and Mandy and Murph.
Instead of Mork from Ork, it's Mork from Earth. So
It's Murph from Earth. It's Mork from Ork and Murph from Earth. Ah, you just did that. You just made the connection, Randy. Brilliant.
yeah.
Well done. Well done, sir. All right, I need to get some tubs to.
I was trying to figure out what TV series had the most spin-offs, and
Oh yeah.
I'm not seeing anything definitive yet.
Yeah. So what we have right now is Happy Days had at least 4, right? So I mean, because we're not going to count the original show, so it's just the spin-off. So you had Laverne and Shirley, you had Mork and Mindy, and then there was Happy Days again or something like that, where it had the Fonz and it had the neighbor from one of the neighbors from Married with Children. And I think that they run the Arnold's, but it's totally different. They've totally revamped Arnold's. It doesn't look the same. Looks like a country western Burger King or something.
We're excluding reality shows like The X Factor.
Yeah.
It's like CSI.
Yeah, well, CSI. No, CSI probably.
I'm discounting that.
Yeah.
I don't count that as a pre-
Well, that's not a reality show though.
Like, let's just
But if you did like,
say,
you could say like Miami
let's just
Inc.
say,
and California
we'll just
Inc.
have the
and
same show, but we'll make it in every different city in the world. Yeah,
yeah, that one. Yeah. Real
not calling
World,
it a spin-off.
Real World, Miami, Real World. Yeah, so we don't count those because I also don't want to count like all the 17 Storage Wars and.
No, I'm not counting PSI either. I know it's not a reality show, but I'm not counting it either.
All right. Well,
No,
yeah. Yeah. For the purposes of our conversation, if your show is another show just because it's in another city, wrong. We're disqualifying you. That's a judge's ruling. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Let's see. And take a moment too, just to thank anybody who is giving us their time and attention. We appreciate your eyeballs and your ear holes.
Getting janky on Discord for some reason.
Follow, please do. What's janky?
You're coming in janky on Discord.
Oh, I'm walking to and fro from the mic, so I'm trying to redo our setting here. Now these guys.
I've got a neighbor who is constantly setting off their car alarm. I think they let their child play with their keys.
Jesus, that is horrible. Oh gosh, I would. I do not miss. I lived in townhouse type living for about 8 years from a couple different places.
5-year-old place today when I went to Sam's Club.
What's that?
I think I just drove by your old place the other day.
Oh, you might
I
have.
had to go to Sam's Club to do a pickup.
Yeah, and so like one of them I lived downstairs and there was neighbors that lived upstairs, but their stairs ran by the wall that was behind my TV. So you're watching TV and you hear just people going up the stairs, and it sounds like, of course, that they're being jerks or something, but they're just using their stairs. But man, and it was like, it's like I could tell at any time how many people they had in their house and what rooms they were in. Right? And it's just like, that's just more information than you ever need to know at any time about somebody. And then I told you also that I had the one townhouse and the stairs, our stairs butted up to the other neighbor's stairs, and they had kids, and you'd hear them running up and down the stairs, and they'd kids would lock each other out, and it's like, Omar, let me in, Omar, come on, I'm gonna tell Dad. It's like I don't miss that stuff at all. None. I miss it none.
I've been in a lot of people's apartments where they had people over top of them, and it sounds like elephants. Like the people would just be walking. It sounds like elephants.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and actually one of those was the place that I shared with Tater.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they actually probably had the worst of it. I don't know that we did. According to some of the letters that we received from the lease office, they weren't necessarily happy with us as well. Good times, good times. All right, so let me see here. For this, I think I'm going to get some of our homemade tiles and such. So give me a second. Randy, I'm going to put on our Be Right Back music, and because I'm going to have to go out probably go upstairs to get a couple totes.
Oh, okay, I'm going to grab coffee.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll be right back. Thanks. Alrighty. I am back.
Welcome back.
Alright, we got a bunch of tubs of stuff from upstairs. Alright.
What are you looking for? Can you hear me, JB? JB.
Alright, let's see. Okay. Good there. about to tickle my throat. Sometimes they... Well, it's not good. I get a hair, mine or the dog's, in my throat. It takes the crap out of it. I've been fighting that all day. There's what I was looking for. I have a box for photo props. It's like, oh, damn, where did I move it? Put it in here. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff. There we go. I need some of my tiles. What's this? That. I can take that out. Don't need that. And Shads, if you're talking, I can't hear you. You may have me on mute. I'm assuming that you're enjoying or preparing some non-pedo tea. Most people don't know that that's Randy's street name. Non-pedo tea. You down with non-pedo tea? Yeah, you know me.
Can you hear me?
You down with no pedo tea? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with no pedo tea? All right, let's... All right, so you are back.
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right. You know what? Maybe my headphones are... Yes, they are. Give me a second for the headphones to turn on. I was charging them while I was going upstairs, and apparently that powers them off. I didn't realize that. So as soon as they kick in... That's funny. There we go. I can hear you now. Sorry about that, brother.
Hello.
Hello.
Alma, check your battery.
Yeah. That's funny. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, you know what? Usually, I'm going to be doing a lot of work today. I'm going to try to bring that stuff from upstairs down. So let me charge the headphones while I'm running upstairs, and apparently that powers them off. So I put them back on and just waiting for you to hop on. And your light was solid green, so I couldn't tell, if you were talking or not talking. So I just figured it was just catching background noise. So apologies for that. But I do think I have some.
I still haven't found a definitive answer for what shows had the most spin-offs. There's ones that list spin-off of shows, but they're in alphabetical order, and I don't go into further details about.
Yeah. So I was. How many?
Bizarre. You would think this would be a commonly searched for thing, really.
So Doctor Who had at least 2, right, spinoffs, because it had the Miss Jane Adventures, and it
At
had
least
Torchwood, which I heard that they were potentially doing a season 5 of Torchwood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says I saw an article. You know, the clickbait title was "Why You Haven't Seen Season 5 Yet, Even Though the Show Has Not Been Canceled." So that made me think that a season 5 is probably.
I thought they kind of had a pretty definitive wrap up, but it is the Doctor Who universe. So.
Yeah, that's right. You can do anything you want. Man, the current season is getting a lot of guff, according to the interwebs.
Really?
Yeah, they did something in a couple of episodes that people felt has done something to the timeline or something. I don't know. I'm trying not to.
That's funny.
Well, you know, it's like there's. Well, I guess it's kind of not unlike. It's not.
The series has fucked up the timeline so much that there's no fucking up the timeline anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was going to liken it to Star Trek and the Prime Directive. It's like, we must obey the Prime Directive of all costs, except for when we shouldn't obey the Prime Directive. Except for when it's clearly wrong to follow the Prime Directive. Okay. Good that you have your ideals and you stick by them, I guess. But yeah, and so without going into too much information, because, you know, I don't want to spoil it, I'm looking forward to watching it.
You're janky, you're cutting out.
Yeah, sorry about that. I am looking forward to watching that season. Well, just found a little mini book.
Yeah, I'm behind that as well.
But yeah, so apparently there was something, and that they felt undid something crucial or something like that. Because what in Doctor Who, one of the big ones is there's fixed points in time, right, that you're not supposed to mess with.
Supposedly, yeah. They had
except for when
episodes about like how you can't change certain fixed points because it'll cause a whole like ripping of space-time continuum, utter annihilation of everything.
Right. So I don't know, but
My mom said that Venom 2 is supposed to come out.
Now you're getting janky on the Discord. Maybe that's the problem.
My mom said that Venom 2 is to come out this year.
Oh yeah, I that's cool. That is cool. See if you can find a picture of Jared Leto as Morbius. I don't know if they've come out with any of those yet. Because maybe they're not even shooting yet.
She sent me something about that.
These trees. I seen them trees.
There's a teaser trailer for it.
Is there?
With Jared Leto as Morbius. It says Sony Pictures Entertainment. Morbius trailer.
Sometimes those things are fan.
There's Spider-Man.
Where you click on it and you're like, oh, this is like a legit thing. And it's like, oh, no, this is a fan-made teaser. And if you haven't seen some of the clips that they're pulling from, you're like, oh, this must be new because I ain't seen this. All right, I'm going to... Jared Leto Morbius. It's a 2021 film. Teaser trailer. Well, I'm going to check on that back when we Twitch. I won't pull it up on the YouTubes. But... All right. I think we can. All right.
Filming was confirmed to have been completed by June 2019.
Nice. Okay.
Scheduled to be released in the United States March 19, 2021. delayed
nice.
from the so, initially it was supposed to come out in July 2020, but it's been delayed since.
For obvious reasons. All right.
Matt Smith is in it.
Oh, speaking of Doctor Who and the new Doctor and old Doctors, I did watch the third season of
Karen Gillian is in it. Oh wait,
Oh.
wait.
Are you talking? Is this a Doctor Who spinoff? I didn't realize Morbius was a Doctor Who spinoff.
Oh, no, Matt Smith is. It mentions her because she currently encouraged. Encouraged methods, I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, he probably asked her because of her experience with doing Nebula. Like, is this a good? Who is that? Like, oh gosh, who plays the new Spock in the new Star Treks?
Oh,
I can't think of his name right now.
yeah. Computer, who plays Spock in the new movies?
As far as I know,
Zachary
Ethan Peck
John
does not have any upcoming
Quinto.
movies.
Who is it?
His most recent movie
Zachary
was Broken
Quinto.
Land.
Zachary,
The
yeah.
movie was released in 2018.
We're all about the Zacharys today, right? Isn't that the Zachary? Somebody is the guy that played Chuck Shazam. I think his name is Zachary something.
Mm.
All right.
Did you have a titular moment you needed to expound upon?
We did already. Empty Nest had 8 seasons and Firefly only had 1.
Oh, but you weren't talking about Empty Nest. You were talking about something else.
Yeah, no, I was. That's the title of the show.
About Empty Nest?
Yeah. I
The
didn't like
doctor with the 2 daughters.
it. Say that again.
Daddy. The doctor with the 2 daughters.
Empty Nest. It had Kristen McNichols in it, right? And it had that tall, why you're guy did he just kind of like judge with his acting? That was just for you.
Richard Mulligan.
Richard.
Christy McNichol. Yeah.
I had never watched it for more than 3 minutes because it was one of those shows that's like, I do not get what you're trying to do here. But you know, hey, I felt that way about Friends when I first saw it. So, what was his name? Mulligan.
What?
You said his name was Richard
Oh, yeah.
Mulligan?
Richard Mulligan.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I think that
It was good. It was funny. It was heartfelt. Was there
this is who I think
they had like a kind of a oh gosh, my brain. Suzanne Summers, Three's Company, their neighbor.
was Jack or Larry. Larry?
Yeah, so they kind of had that dynamic. They had a neighbor that kind of had that dynamic a little bit, but he was like I think he worked on a cruise ship or something. He was. Murph. What's up, Jax?
Sam the Eagle is who I'm talking about. And here we go. This will be a better
What?
Another link. Yeah.
Oh, I thought there's a new movie where it's like a tier. And it's played by the same guy that does the Kingsman movie.
I am, of course, not the first person who has thought this.
Taron Egerton. Eddie the Eagle. That's what I'm thinking of. When you said Sam the Eagle, I was thinking of Eddie the Eagle.
There you go. All right.
The Muppet.
All right, so we have this here. Let's maybe we need to move.
That's fine.
Didn't he come off kind of like a blundering idiot? Wasn't that his kind of his
On
shtick?
that? No.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Not really. He was a doctor.
Hmm.
He was a very recently widowed pediatrician, child doctor.
He was a pedo doctor. I didn't say. I didn't say T.
Oh, I forgot about his nurse. Oh my gosh.
Hello, nurse.
Burn. Noxious neighborhood nuke. Wow. Theme song's Life Goes On. Had a spin-off called
What was the spinoff called?
Nurses. Oh yeah, holy crap.
All right, I think this might be sufficient for what we're trying to do here. All right. What kind of timeline you're working with? You got to stop at 2?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna run long, so you just let me know. You can feel free to hop off whenever you need to. I'll take it to Twitch, but I'll keep going with you as long as you're able to stay on Discord. Sound good?
Yep.
Cool.
Welcome back, Tater.
Oh, welcome back, Tater. All right. Let's see here. So if we...
I wanted to make some bread, but I haven't been able to get yeast. I thought I had. I can't find it anymore. And I haven't been able to find any in the store, or that wasn't available online from Walmart or Sam's Club. So I started making my own sourdough starter. And just from like with the first 24-hour period of the starter, you have to, every day you have to feed it. And the first step the next day before you feed it again is to.
Is this like a Tamaguchi baby thingy?
What?
You know those digital baby things that all the kids are into these days.
So
and by these days, I mean like 15 years ago.
Apparently, the old adage is that if you have, I used to joke anyway. that if you had the sourdough starter, that you had to like take it with you if you traveled anywhere or something, because you always got to babysit it. But that's not really.
That's funny. Yeah, don't they do some things too with like dough? Like you'll put a little bit of the old dough into the new dough.
Yeah, that's for sourdough, because that's what gives you. That's where your yeast is. You're basically capturing, not necessarily capturing, but using wild yeast. It may already be on like the flour, per se, as opposed to some people think you're like collecting it from the air, and you're getting that's the way the yeast is coming from the air, but it looks like it's mostly at least from the flour that you use.
Can I
Anyway,
interrupt? Can I interrupt
you're
you for a
using
sec? Can I interrupt you for a second and tell you something that I really had doubts about my my general practitioner when I had strep throat, and you know I took some medicine for it, and then after I got rid of the strep throat, I still had this throat pain, and it was because the strep throat killed something, but then that meant something else could now propagate all up in my mouth, and so what he gave me was like Monostat 7 or something. It was something for that traditionally is treated, it's like yeast infections, and like the package you get, it was like there was no other indication about which orifice this was supposed to be used for, and it was not the mouth. But he was right, it worked.
Okay.
The good news was it worked. But yeah, there's some medicine that it's, yeah, it was like, man, after the strep throat, which was horrible, and then you get rid of that, and it's like I still can't get rid of the sore throat. My tongue felt like a tongue. But anyways, so sourdough. So you're making up the sourdough.
Oh yeah, let's. Great, thanks.
Hey, you said yeast. That's
a lovely segue. Thank you for.
You're the yeast beast.
Anyway, so I'm making some lovely sourdough.
What makes that dough sour?
That would be the lactic acid.
Ah.
Thank you.
Dropping science.
So you have to pour off part of the starter before you feed it again, and that's called the discard, the part that you pour off. And a lot of people just throw it away, but you can actually use that. In any baked good that calls for yeast, or anything in general, really, because it's nutritional. It has probiotics in there. It's easier to digest than.
So does the placenta.
The placenta is supposed to be very good for you.
Yeah, especially to deep fry it.
Anyway.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so I just put a little oil in a pan on medium and poured the discard sourdough starter in there, and put some green onions on top and some chia seeds and a little salt and pepper, and fried that up, and it was tasty. Sourdough pancake. It's like it was crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside.
I'll tell you, man, fresh bread baked goods are hard to beat.
Had a little dipping sauce with it, a soy sauce and balsamic vinegar, a little oil. Good stuff.
And you're a fine baker. I enjoy your baked goods.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Tater. This has been a very educational stream. We're glad to help you get your learn on. That's what we do here. Okay, so now that we got that, let me see what this looks like on our. I'm actually going to take my chair and move it. Oof. The descent into madness. And turn on. How's our battery looking?
Can you just end if you're already there?
Well, you can descend further, I suppose. So it's like the bowels of hell. Which of all the places that stink, I mean, I imagine no place in hell smells good, but the bowels, particularly. Not a good time.
Remember that old joke about hell?
Oh yeah, it exists.
Sent down the hell. They're just standing around knee deep. They're like, well, you're just standing around having coffee. I mean, you're knee deep in cow manure, but
Oh yeah.
you just don't have coffee all the time. Like, this isn't so bad. And he gets coffee in his hand, and he's like, the devil comes out and says, "All right, coffee break's over. Back on your heads."
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard versions of that about.
It's one of the bad jokes my dad told me when I was little.
Speaking of things that dad say, I was thinking about my dad used to talk about when things were hot and cold, and when it's colder, it was colder than a well digger's ass. And if it was hot, you're sweating like a whore in church. All right, I think we're.
Just learned that slavery wasn't outlawed in England until like 2015 or something.
It was like one of those laws that's still technically on the books.
Yeah, they're like, we should probably clear this up. We should probably take care of this one.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an oversight, I imagine. Tasty. All right. That is something. I heard that they're doing something with the Sandman, right? They're making it into something, I think.
That sounds familiar.
Can you take a look and see if they're doing something? I thought that they were doing something with the Sandman. I can't remember. Like they're doing maybe an audio. Maybe I think Neil Gaiman may be narrating an audio version of it or something. And I love me some Neil Gaiman. Randy, what are you feeling about Gaiman? Sorry. Neil.
Celebrate the title. Oh.
Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman. Is that your name or what you do? Sorry.
Sandman TV series from Neil Gaiman, David where? Ago at Netflix.
No, these.
Oh wow. The drama from Warner Brothers TV landed at the streamer with what sources describe as a massive financial commitment and DC Entertainment's most expensive TV foray ever. Neil Gaiman's beloved Vertigo comic Sandman is finally coming to the screen.
And I think that he is maybe doing a teleplay or something. I think he's like heavily involved in it. And I think he was with that was also him in Good Omens. Him and Terry Pratchett did Good Omens, and I think that he did a teleplay for Good Omens. And I think people were happy with that, and that's what I think may have led to this. Everybody's getting some love on the game, and so, Well, wouldn't you want to hop on? Yeah, yeah. Let me see here. And also, I enjoyed the American Gods that was on.
I still haven't seen
Showtime?
that.
Yeah, I think it's on Showtime.
Yeah.
And I'd actually listened to that audiobook. It's pretty good. I need to check out on Nancy Boys because I think that's within the same vein.
What'd you say, Nancy Drew?
Yeah, I need to get up on my Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys adventures. Did you ever read Encyclopedia Brown when you was a wee lad?
I don't think so.
You didn't? Oh man, you would have totally dug on Encyclopedia Brown. That would have been a younger reading level than Nancy Drew. You know, it's just like probably like second, third grade. You know, just kind of when you're first starting to get into some books. But he had a photographic memory, Encyclopedia Brown, and so he had a little detective agency, and it was a quarter a day plus expenses.
Nice.
Yeah, and he had a tomboy girl that used to help him. I can't remember what her name was, but yeah, it was like I remember one of them. He knew that it was fake because it was a dead lobster, but the lobster was red, which meant that it had been cooked, and he knew that it had been cooked because it was red, and lobsters aren't normally red, and so it was kind of like that. But yeah, it was good. I'm surprised I haven't seen stuff done with that because it was when I was a kid. It was a pretty big series.
Tater said he hated reading the books because he could never figure it out.
Well, yeah, it prepares you for Sherlock Holmes later. They have Audible has the collected works of Holmes being read by Stephen Fry, so I think will be on my NAB list at some point.
What was that? Stephen Fry, what?
He narrates. Hold on a minute. I keep walking away from the mic. He narrates the Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, and so it's like one book, so it's only costs one Audible credit, but it's like
Nice.
18 hours or something. So I think that's one that I'll do for. The thing is that's usually when I listen to it at night, and I'm afraid I'm going to feel like Tater with Encyclopedia Brown. It's like. I don't remember that part. Did he do that? That's awesome. Was he a little uppity little snark that's dropped? Although, doesn't really. Well, I guess I'm thinking modern day Sherlock. I'm thinking the Sherlock TV show. He certainly does it in the Sherlock TV show, which I love. I shared somebody a link today. Somebody mentioned gin and juice, so I shared a link to Benedict Cumberbatch doing gin and juice as Alan Rickman. You ain't seen that? Look that up on the internet. That's always fun. He does do an amazing Alan Rickman impersonation. I always ask at the end, "Did you figure it out, dummy?" Hey, dummy. It's like words like imbecile and things like that used to actually be IQ level scores, right?
Really?
I don't think that they did. I think that they've since changed that, but it was like, like 80 to 60 was like imbecile or something like that. And so that's where some of these words, I think.
When there's a personality test that's commonly used for
the Briggs Stratton. Briggs Stratton is one, I think.
That one, or
There's also a good one as
This one is based on
are you-
personality type.
yeah. There's one that's called Are you a dickhead? Most people fail that one.
Maybe it was like a mother and daughter who came up with it. I can't remember if it's pretty right now. Anyway, it's still used in a lot of job applications and stuff, job interviews situations, even though it's been disproved. It's totally flawed.
I told you that I took a test just to work as like a cash register person for Cord Camera, and they made me take a test. Micro Center did this too. Made me take these tests that they ask you the same questions, but they ask you multiple versions of them, and they tell you that they want you to be honest, but they really don't want you to be honest. And the one for Cord Camera, I remember it asked you what your beliefs about the police department are and how honest you think cops are. And it was like, what? And after that day, I was like, I will never, ever take another test like that. I felt so invaded. It was like, you know what? You shouldn't be allowed to ask people questions like that. I felt bad enough giving skill assessment tests, you know.
I mean, what are they going with that there? Are they like trying to decide if you're a reputable employee, if you would try to fleece them, or if you're going to be okay with fleecing your customers?
I think that it's extrapolating that it's how you view authority.
Micro Center is commission based, like.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, it has to do with like how you view authority and leadership and things like that. But it's just yeah.
You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that I think it had to do with like they assume that's how you deal with like authority and leadership and things like that. I'm extrapolating, and this was 20 years ago or something like that. But I was like, man, I was like, no, I'm never going to do that again. And I remember the guy that was interviewing me kept falling asleep while he was interviewing me. How come you don't ask me that question? Am I going to fall asleep while I'm doing my freaking job? Literally, the guy was, I mean, he may have been narcoleptic. He probably had sleep apnea because that was before people knew what sleep apnea was. But he was literally napping during the interview. It's like, does it matter the answer I'm going to give you? Because you're not only going to catch like the beginning and the end.
Yeah, maybe you had narcolepsy.
I said, who's your favorite band, sir? REM? See, because REM sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the same response from him too. Needless to say, he didn't get the job. All right. So, let's get some more of these guys over here.
Did you ask him about the Sandman movie?
Did I? No, I don't think the Sandman movie had a Mr. Sandman.
Singing the song too.
Bring me a dream. Can I tell you my views on the police team?
I hate pretty much any type of written text. Because it's like the answers are always, there's no yes or no, or yes, it's this. It's always like, what do you want? You ask a question that is so open-ended. Maybe you think this is a yes or no question, but let me tell you, there is 1,001 different possible.
Yes, Randy, your world is not binary. And one thing I have come to learn is that your view of the world is not binary by any stretch of the imagination.
It always took me extra time to do tests and stuff because I always had to be like, look, okay, I think this is what you're actually trying to ask here.
I'm sorry.
This is the answer I believe you're looking for, but here's why that's not the case.
However, your dangling participle caused me to have a question. If you really meant that, then you should get rid of the dangling participle.
I just ask shit that's like so dependent upon situational things. Like, what's your favorite? It depends upon what mood I'm in for what my favorite whatever is, or if I like one thing or another, or I want to respond one way or another. It's so situationally dependent. It's ridiculous.
We got a dragon. We need our Dalek. Oh yeah.
Bye, Tater.
See you, buddy. Thanks for hopping on, man. Yeah, Randy. Here's our. Let's see if I can get. Big head Todd and the monsters. Oh.
No.
Yeah, there you go. And moment of truth. Da da da! Magnets are attached. Magnets are attached. And if we... Boop boop! Awesome. So I'll have to paint where we did the two-part. And I still think that these are likely to come out, but we'll see. I may just put some super glue on them on the outside. But yeah, righteous. All right, let's move him out of here. Man, it's hot with all these lights, even with these LEDs. I can't imagine if I was using non-LEDs down here. This place would be a sauna. And you can't have fans because of the noise. It's a good thing I'm in a basement.
You need to hire somebody with a palm leaf to. If you just happen to see somebody passing by with a giant palm leaf, then, try to grab them.
I like that. Once we get past the age of social distancing and Kroger fires some of its workers, that seasonal staff they are trying to bring on.
Who did?
Kroger's hearing commercials for them on like Pandora and stuff that they're trying to hire people because of they're understaffed due to all of the heavy.
Yeah, a bunch of places are hiring right now.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see what kind of changes occur in everyday business life and stuff based on fallout from coronavirus.
Yeah, because some businesses just ain't going to straight up make it, right? This is going to kill some businesses, some small businesses.
Very likely.
And then I'm wondering how,
But I don't know how much that is, or.
Well, like I was talking to the comic book shop people, and they had concerns, as they said they don't know. I mean, what is this going to do to the comic book industry? How is the comic book industry even going to bounce back? And blah blah blah. Maybe we have to change our store, make it a game store instead of something. So, I mean, those business owners, small business owners, have had those concerns. It would seem, but
it's going to further spur. E-business as opposed to brick and mortar stores.
Yeah. Fantasy Grounds has saw a huge uptick, I saw.
It's also going to, I would think, increase the amount of like robot labor especially for like delivery services like Amazon and stuff. You'd think that for them, in order to make sure that they're meeting demands, that they can rely on machines in situations where people wouldn't be able to handle the whatever situation is occurring, such as an epidemic.
Yeah, I wonder,
or
if
putting the orders together as well as shipping them. They've always wanted to try to move toward drones.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll try harder to get that going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we were talking about, like video conferencing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That, they're going to need to work on that technology. I saw that a headline that says, yes, PlayStation realizes that its VR is woefully behind or something like that and is in need of an upgrade.
That it's what?
That it's behind and is in need of an upgrade or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think with their probably with the PlayStation 5, which is due to come out, this year, I think.
That's the way it is. It's always after I get mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is with this technology, it's they're going to be like cell phones, right?
Yeah.
It's like it is unfortunately a disposable technology. But I'm not holding on to my TV from 1984.
You're not holding on to your what?
TV from 1984. I have no need for an old TV, so it's just some of this technology as it advances so quickly.
I just would myself too.
Yeah, I'm past 2 years on my phone, and that's usually about the time that they start getting wonky. Let's see, what do you use separately?
What you working on, bro?
I'm doing photos of all these guys. So right now I'm working with Big Head Todd and the Monsters, also known as MODOK. Big Head Todd and the Monsters was a band from the 90s. I like the way this guy came out.
Gig with Jim and the Misfits?
No. The Misfits. The Misfits was Glenn Danzig's band, a punk band back in the day.
Jim and the Misfits.
Sorry. Big Ed Todd, Jim and the Misfits.
I was watching a YouTube documentary.
Did you do something? Your voice quality changed.
I think my battery might be running out of my headset.
Or it could be mine. Might be my battery as well.
Not beef, but there was no indication of what it was for.
Yeah, you're getting lighter and lighter.
Alright. I got some work that came in anyway, so.
All right. Well,
To light off the headset, I'll still be on the stream though.
yeah, right on, brother. Thanks for hopping on today. Thanks everybody for anybody that's on the YouTube side. I watch the Twitch side, so if you want to be more visible, feel free to watch us on the Twitch side. And also, we do stream daily on Twitch. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when Randy hops on, we also multi-stream onto the YouTubes. So, feel free to join us on the Twitch. But Randy, I appreciate you hopping on as always, brother. And I hope that you're
Always a pleasure.
you're staying safe. I look forward to. I don't know if you'll be available tomorrow night, but I'm going to be trying to run the remote session of D&D, and if you're available, I would like to wrangle you in to maybe assist and also potentially play, if interested. So think about it. You don't tell me now, but let me know. I'll work around it. Either way, it'll be like, I think it's I think we're aiming 5 to 8 tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there if I can.
Okay. Yep. And you're starting to fade, so love you, brother, and I will talk with you soon. And I'm gonna drop off the. I'll end the stream and reboot it up just on Twitch. Bye, everybody.
Okay.